Welcome to our YouTube channel A to Z Summary. Here is a detailed analysis and summary of the poem The Wasteland by T S Eliot. Before proceeding further, I request you to please subscribe our channel and like the video. Also comment your favorite books and novel so that I can provide summary for it. Now let's start with the summary. The themes of the poem are: the literary devices of the poem are: The Wasteland by T S Eliot is a modernist poem that reflects the disillusionment and despair of post-World War I society. The poem is complex and often difficult to understand, but its central theme revolves around the degradation of contemporary culture and the search for meaning in a fragmented world. Eliot draws on various mythologies, literary references, and cultural symbols to depict a world in decline. The title itself suggests a barren and desolate landscape, mirroring the spiritual and moral emptiness of the time. The poem is divided into 5 sections, each presenting a different perspective on the state of the world. The poem opens with the famous lines, "April is the cruelest month," challenging traditional notions of rebirth and renewal associated with spring. Instead of celebrating the blossoming of life, Eliot presents a desolate landscape, setting the tone for the overarching theme of spiritual and cultural barrenness. The title, The Wasteland, alludes to both the physical and metaphorical wasteland that the world has become. The first section of the poem, titled The Burial of the Dead, introduces the reader to a barren and lifeless landscape. The speaker describes a land where roots have dried up and lilacs have withered. The imagery suggests a world devoid of fertility and vitality, mirroring the spiritual desolation that Eliot perceives in society. The references to the myth of Tiresias, a blind prophet from Greek mythology, add a layer of complexity, hinting at the blindness of contemporary humanity to its own plight. The second section, A Game of Chess, shifts the focus to the realm of human relationships, particularly the sexual and romantic. The scene unfolds in a luxurious apartment, portraying a disenchanted and sterile encounter between a man and a woman. The use of chess as a metaphor for their interaction implies a calculated and strategic approach to love, devoid of genuine emotion. The fragmented dialogue and disjointed narrative reflect the breakdown of communication and connection in a world marked by alienation. The third section, The Fire Sermon, draws on Buddhist teachings, specifically the concept of desire as the root of suffering. Eliot weaves together various mythological and religious references to convey the destructive nature of desire in a world consumed by materialism and hedonism. The speaker observes a series of scenes that depict lustful encounters and unfulfilled desires, emphasizing the emptiness that accompanies the pursuit of pleasure without spiritual meaning. The Death by Water section explores the theme of destruction and rebirth through the symbol of water. The drowned sailor, Phlebas, represents the inevitable fate of all living beings and the cyclical nature of life and death. The imagery of water, often associated with cleansing and renewal, takes on a darker connotation here, highlighting the destructive power that can erase civilizations and individual lives. In What the Thunder Said, the poem reaches its climactic moments. The speaker, haunted by the echoes of thunder, seeks answers from the oracle at Delphi. The oracle's cryptic response, give, surrender, and sacrifice, suggests a path toward spiritual renewal, a relinquishment of self, and a return to a higher order. The poem concludes with a series of fragmented images, evoking a world on the verge of transformation. The speaker finds solace in the recurring refrain, "Here we go round the prickly pear," suggesting a cyclical pattern of life and death, hope and despair. What is the significance of the title The Wasteland? The title reflects the barren, desolate state of the world depicted in the poem, drawing on various cultural and literary allusions. How does Eliot use mythological references in the poem? Eliot incorporates myths and symbols from various cultures to convey universal themes and comment on the contemporary human condition. What is the role of water in the wasteland? Water is a recurring motif symbolizing purification, renewal, and, at times, the destructive forces of nature. What is the significance of the Fisher King in the poem? The Fisher King represents a wounded and impotent ruler, symbolizing the spiritual and cultural decay of the modern world. What is the role of religion in the wasteland? The poem explores religious themes, highlighting a sense of spiritual desolation and the search for meaning in a seemingly godless world. What is the significance of the epigraphs in the wasteland? The epigraphs provide clues to the poem's themes and serve as entry points into its complex layers of meaning. How does Eliot address sexuality in the poem? The poem explores themes of sexual desire, frustration, and the degradation of human relationships in the modern world. What is the role of the tarot cards in the wasteland? The tarot references add a layer of symbolism, suggesting a journey of self-discovery and transformation. How does Eliot depict urban life in the poem? The poem portrays urban life as a soulless, mechanical existence, emphasizing the alienation and loss of human connection. What is the significance of the epigraphs at the beginning of the poem? The epigraphs provide context and set the tone for the poem, drawing on diverse literary and cultural sources. Who is Tiresias, and why is he important in the poem? Tiresias, a blind prophet from Greek mythology, serves as a symbolic figure representing insight and understanding in the midst of spiritual blindness. How does the poem address the aftermath of World War I? The poem reflects the disillusionment and trauma of the post-World War I era, capturing the cultural and spiritual crisis of the time. How does Eliot address the concept of time in the poem? Time is portrayed as cyclical, with references to historical events and myths emphasizing the eternal recurrence of certain themes and patterns. What is the significance of the poem's ending and the thunder? The thunder at the end suggests a potential moment of revelation or epiphany, leaving the reader with a sense of both uncertainty and possibility. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content.